in semi-darkness. The dog opened its eyes and sniffed at the air a second before the man detected the first sounds of the geese beginning their morning flight. It was a while longer still before he sighted them in the west. Flocks winged their way across the fells without moving in his direction, but he was not worried. His geese would show up this morning as they had always done before. Fall after fall, the same families of geese returned to this patch to feed and gather strength before the migration south over the Atlantic Ocean. This was reliable stock that had not suffered from overhunting, and the force of habit was strong. He shot a few geese each week, and still the flock returned to the potato patch again and again. The dog pricked up its ears and lifted its snout, every muscle tense and yet completely motionless. The man took his shotgun carefully out of its bag and loaded it. A newish 5-shot pump-action 12-gauge with Magnum cartridges, a sturdy and easy-to-handle weapon. Another flock of geese now appeared, heading closer than the earlier ones. The man counted 9 birds. If they came within range, he would be able to bag his prey with the 3 shells loaded in the gun. That would be enough, and he could head back to the car for his morning coffee and a much-needed cigarette. The geese circled wide over the potato beds, seeming to assess the situation. The decoys told them this was safe ground and, circling more closely, they warily approached. The man stopped thinking about coffee and took careful aim. The geese descended farther and made for the patch, flying into the wind. Suddenly, with about 100 meters to go, they took fright and, with much honking, gained height again. Before long, the whole flock had disappeared north. The hunter cautiously stuck his head out from his hiding place and tried to determine what might have caused this disturbance. He could see no movement anywhere. The dog also got to its feet, raised its snout into the air, sniffed, and softly growled. "Good boy, Kohler," the man said, as he continued to scan the surroundings. About 30 meters from the ruin, just by the edge of the hayfield, was a shallow ditch overgrown with tall, yellowed grass. On the hillside just above, over to one side, were some large boulders that had been carried there by a landslide long ago. The lowland was still in the shadow of the mountains, so visibility was poor. Suddenly, there was a loud bang as a shot hit one of the decoys in the potato patch, knocking it over. "Hello? Who's there?" the man called out. He paused for an answer and then shouted louder, "Who's there? This is private property." Hearing no reply, he shouted again, "Trespassers are banned from hunting here." There was utter silence, apart from the dog's quiet growling. "Kohler!" the man snapped at the dog, silencing it. "Hello?" the man called again, but still there was no answer. He peered out from his sheltered spot, seeing no sign of the other gunman. Then another shot rang out, throwing up a mass of grass and earth as it hit the ground a few meters in front of him. Swiftly ducking down, he considered the situation in disbelief. Somebody was firing buckshot at him. Who the hell was playing a game like that? "Hello!" he yelled at the top of his voice. "Stop shooting!" He tore off his cap and hung it over the muzzle of his gun. Hesitantly, he lifted the gun above the wall and waved. There was another shot, and some pellets hit the cap and the barrel of the gun. By now, the dog had had enough and launched forward, barking and running toward the gunman. "Kohler!" the man cried, but a shot rang out and the dog yelped once and fell silent. "Kohler!" the man yelled, peering over the wall. The dog lay in a pool of blood, halfway between the ruin and the edge of the ditch. The man knelt down again. He was petrified and took shelter by curling up below the wall. What the hell was going on? The dog had been his best friend for 7 years, but uppermost in his mind now was fear for his own life. He was caught in something that was way beyond his control. There was someone out there in the dawning light who meant to do him harm. He thought of phoning for help, but realized he had left his cell phone in the car. Anyway, there was no reception here. Then he remembered that he always carried 3 emergency flares in his ammunition belt. They were very old, but they might still work. He unloaded his gun, replaced the shells with the flares, and